Welcome back for another tutorial. This time I'm going to talk about cross sections of the track. Here's a track I prepared earlier. It's just a short little one there. We're going to switch into the cross section editing mode as we do that, and you'll notice at the end of each track is a cross section. If I float up there, you can see it off in the distance. There it is. So you can click on these and then you can work on them. You obviously can't work on them because if you haven't clicked on them first. Once you do click on them, you can use these small sticks to lift them vertically up and down. You don't have to worry about any sideways movement if you grab those. If you grab the ball itself, you can drag that sideways. These larger balls denote either the edge of the track or the edge of the road. I call this the edge of the track because if we switch to wireframe mode, that's showing the very outside of the road. Beyond that, it's terrain. And these inside points, these 2 points here, you won't be able to delete those. You can delete the outside ones, but you can't delete those. You can delete all the inside points, but those two have to be left there. There's no point having a road without 2 points, and those 2 points will be fairly important when it comes to the next long distant piece of work that I've got planned, which is intersections, where you'll be able to join roads up and they meet using these points. They're also used right now for when you join tracks of varying cross sections, which I'll show in a more advanced tutorial a little bit later on. For now, we're going to stick to just the modifications, so you can lasso these points and you can hold shift down and move them around. Shift and Y will restrict it to the Y axis. Shift and X will restrict it to its own axis. This track has a camber at the moment, so you're actually seeing it on an angle there. If you were to change the camber there to flat, when we selected this, you would actually be flat with the ground. So that's the very basics. You can delete these. You've got to be careful when deleting these because you can actually remove the material that it's attached to if the material's got no more points to be left with. So you want to be mindful that your materials, and we'll cover that in a future tutorial as well, that those aren't removed if you're deleting these points. To delete them, all you need to do is highlight it and press the delete key. If you want to insert one, just insert by holding the control key and clicking along the line. Now that's well and good. The changes that we make here will transition along the track and fade through into the last cross section. So if I just come down here, I held shift then, so you can actually select both, you can then do the change to both by holding shift down. If you just release shift, then you're just moving that point. So that might be a little bit obvious, more obvious if I come up here and do it. So if you want a complete cross section in the track, just click and click on the track somewhere that's not on that line. If you want to modify these sets of points in between here, you can do that by stretching out these white pieces. These white arrowheads allow you to move that section. Obviously that'll do the other side. The blue will stretch it so it's anchored at this point here, and all the points are stretching based on that, so you could stretch it out wide here. And yellow is just simply for moving up and down the whole cross section. So there may be times when you just want to put in a little jump. So you do that, click on this one, and rather than having to worry about all of them, you can just grab that, lift it up. You can pull it sideways as well, or if you hold Y down, restrict it to the y-axis. So you can do that. Notice here that these cross sections don't necessarily line up with the points. It's up to you. If you want to move this whole cross section so that it lined exactly up with that line, hold the M key and then move it around. Now this is something I've still got to work on, but the mouse here is actually finding the line in between the nodes, but because we've lifted this track up, the cross section no longer sits where the nodes, or the line between the nodes that form the track, are. So when you do hold the M key and move this around, you'll have to line it up roughly where the, well, just visually by looking, I guess is the easiest way. Sometimes coming straight down on it will give you a better indication. If you want to make a copy of that whole cross section, hold the C key and then click, and that's copied that selected cross section and created a new one exactly the same. Now you can only copy one at a time, so if two were selected and you press C, it won't actually work. You've just got to have the one selected, hold C down and click somewhere else along the track. It's that simple. To delete points, I've shown you that before, you just select the point. To delete the whole cross section, just make sure there's no points selected there, that it's the only cross section selected, and press the delete key. Yep, that simple. So there's some special things to note with these points. I've shown this before in the videos, and that is some randomness, which just adds X and Y randomness to these points. I wouldn't overuse that, and I think I hesitate, but I think I know of a better way of doing that that gives better results, but it may take a while before I get around to implementing that. Reduce, this actually acts for all of the points along here, so if you were to set the reduce for this point here, it would be the same as setting the reduce here. And what that does, if you just watch these polygons here, it's set for that point. If I switch it off, then you're creating more polygons, so it's stopping the reduction of the polygons along there. If we look on that side, it's still set up, so you can see that this polygon mesh here is using less polygons than that. So cross sections are really good for if you've got tight corners. If I was to move this whole thing and for the thing to be a much tighter corner, let me bend it right around here. Let's do it even more. You get this overlapping and these nasty little things popping through. Some of that needs to be alleviated. See, this is really bad because it's trying to hook the track around here, so you normally wouldn't have the nodes so placed ununiformly. What's the word for that? Never mind. So you can go back to these cross sections and you could just drag that in, get the other one, drag it in, and you can see it's kind of fixing up that inside section, so it's not as ugly as it was before. It's a little bit of playing around to get used to. You got to be really careful with that reduce function. It doesn't work so well on tight corners, so especially on outsides you can get some funny artifacts happening. It's just because the line from here to here actually goes underneath some of the other polygons if you do it too tightly. So be very sparing with that function. That's all I'll do for this tutorial, and I'll show you more in the next one. Thanks for watching.